All right, it's a nice sunny day with a little bit of wind happening. We got old Ranger over there putting a trellis up. Hey, and that's going to be for his pole beans. All right, I'll just walk on over and show you what we, myself and my wife did today. Alright, due to some earlier technical malfeasance with this camera, i.e. the card decided to crap the bed, I'm re-recording this. We had recorded a nice long video on how we planted our raspberry canes in this nice little raised bed. You can see down here we used a railway tie on the bottom all the way along, and we cut up a bunch of butt logs earlier last year, and we stacked them 2 high at alternating joints, and every third one in I drilled a hole and pounded a 3-foot ground rod through. You can see, let's get this zoomed in for you. And focus. It's not going to focus. There we go. And you can see right over here, right in there, where I drilled through and pounded in the rods. Okay, so I'll just go through the process of what we did. I'll back this off a little. Alright, so this first plant that I put in here, we put in one at either end. It's a wild rose, and I just noticed when we were over digging out all the raspberry canes that these grew amongst them quite well. So I decided to throw a couple in here and we'll see how well they transplanted. Now when we did them, I tried to keep as much of the natural soil where they came out of around the plant. And then I dug my hole here and used some willow bark shaving because it contains ASA, and it tends to act kind of as a painkiller for the plant to let it relax. Believe it or not, it does work. I've used it on trees, transplanting small spruce and pine and such, and it works pretty good. It increases their chances of surviving. So hopefully the 2 small rose bushes will prosper, get our source of vitamin C from the rose hips in the fall. Now, as I go down here, you can see we planted a bunch of raspberry canes, 10 in all. I planted them right down the middle and spaced apart. I used the same method with the willow bark and soaking the holes and leaving most of their old soil on them. Of course, we stripped out all the weeds and all the weed root and quackgrass root that we could. All right, it was a pretty easy operation and a little something to do this morning, and we've been kind of wanting to get out here in the garden and get at it anyhow. So I'll just walk down here nice and slow. You can see all what we did. Same method as the rose bush. All right, this soil that we got in here, I took this out of an old manure pile that I had mixed in with some sand about 10 years ago, and it's broken very, very well. I've used it from time to time in other beds, and it seems to be quite rich, but not too rich, so we don't get any nitrogen burning. There we go, all the way along. Oh, I'll just march on down here. Say hello to the young fella.
Greetings, people.
Yeah, and he's just built a really nice frame out of willow for poplar. I'm sorry, out of poplar for a trellis for the climbing beans, for the pole beans.
He didn't want willows growing all over the place.
Yeah. right here. Now, earlier on this year, last week before we got all this rain, it was very, very, very dry here. As you probably heard on the news, the stories about Fort McMurray and the big wildfires up there was just about as bad here. And of course we had a firebug around, but during that time I planted a couple rows of Yukon Gold spuds right here. There's 5 pounds of seed potato in each one of these rows. Yeah, there's 3 rows right here. And I'm going to be planting some purple potatoes next. Probably today here with the wife. Alright, I'll see you guys later and take care.